3.1 Practice and Research. The fourth of my practitioners, artists that I've started to research with a response to dyslexia is Denise de Cordova. She made a particular piece of a waterfall with a sculptured figure stood in front of the water. And words to describe this piece are pour, where the water pours down the mountainside. And this is an interesting piece of research because I have now started to investigate how a word can be spelt in different ways and have different meanings, but does cause confusion to dyslexic learning. Now, as I've started to work through the research, this enabled me to start to look at words. For example, flower as a garden flower, or flour used for an ingredient for cooking. Now, as we progress with looking at various words, for example, there, or there, to, the letter to, and to as a plural, these now resonate with what we call, or what are as known as homophones. And these words, to a dyslexic or for a dyslexic trait, just demonstrate that words and spelling can actually cause confusion. I've further investigated this, and I'm going to print out a dictionary of homophone words, which I think would be quite an interesting point to pull out on my critical essay. But I do think that this is a particular interesting response to the traits of dyslexia. The image of the sculpture stood in front of the waterfall can be seen on the blog, and it's just interesting how it's, all of these three practitioners are now making overlaps with dyslexia and neurodiversity in science and art and design. They all have a different take and a different response to the work. For Project 5, I'm going to look into the research, more of the theory side of dyslexia, and then make responses, samples, and so forth for further investigations, for further assignments. But as of now, I think that I've now got to get my head around writing a critical essay and start to build up and select and sort my research and information that I'm now starting to gather. I have taken on board some questions that have started to appear. I've started to ask questions of how I could possibly answer how my own perceptions are of my own disability with dyslexia, and how I kind of respond. But as I'd already discussed with my tutor in my tutor feedback, I find that very difficult. But I am starting to resonate that everything, has a picture memory, everything is visual, and it's almost a form of non-verbal communication. I think, using the circle, and a circle of an audience is hopefully going to engage when I do my first draft and my presentation for the critical essay.